Yo guys, it's slyroh. You already know that today I'm bringing you guys my draft analysis for Season 3 of the Battle Union. And this is the first official video that I am announcing that I am going to be a participant in the Battle Union. It's been announced in all over Twitter, it's been announced on the TBU channel. It has been, I mentioned it in my last update video, and I was at the live stream where the live draft occurred. So, the majority of you guys should know that I am going to be a part of the Battle Union, and I'm really excited. If you guys, remember last season I did take over for a team, and we did okay. We took over a team that we didn't draft, and we played a few games, got some experience, and we are coming back as the Pittsburgh Pyroar. So the Pittsburgh Pyroar are making their first appearance in the TBU, and I'm sorry if saying the TBU bothers you, but it's just what comes naturally, and it's hard to prevent me from saying it, because I know TBU stands for the Battle Union, so the TBU is the Battle Union, but it is what it is. After that's all out of the way, I am basically here to tell you about my draft, what I drafted, why I drafted it, the thought process as to what I was going through, and all that good stuff, because it was a live draft, so everything happened all at once. So the draft took place all in one time. It was pretty crazy. So we're gonna go through kind of my plan, what I took, and everything like that. Before I get into it, I do want to just kind of go over the TBU's draft requirements. So it is probably the strictest of any league that I have seen, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, but basically you need to have a mega, which we had a mega round, so all the megas got taken at once. There is mons ranked A through Y, so there's two mons that are S+, then there's S, then there's A, B, C, D, E, F, and Y. You need to have a mega, an A, B, C, D, and E rank. So those are 6 mons that are required, and then the other ones you can just pick whatever you want. However, the point limit total is 1250. Each rank has their own specific point, like how much each rank costs. And so essentially, it is really hard to get a quality team that is not going to get sniped, that you can build within that point limit and fulfill all their requirements. I found it to be very difficult, but the final result, I think, turned out pretty well. So, let's go ahead and talk about our draft. We were 14th overall. There were 16 people drafting, and making a draft plan is very difficult when you know that there's that many people picking. And because I'm 14th, I do have essentially kind of a wheel pick. There's 2 people after me, so there's 4 picks between my first and second round, but then between my second and third round, there's like, what would that be, 26? Like 26 picks, so it's kind of hard to make a full draft plan, but I did, and yeah, basically the whole plan going into it is, because we had our mega round first, that means I got 14th choice of mega, but then 3rd choice of anything else. Now, way back, we were kind of talking about some of the first things that might be going, and after talking to some people, I basically knew that I was going to be able to grab Manaphy, which I don't know how many chances I'm ever going to get to use Manaphy again, so I saw the opportunity and I was just like, I want that, so I built draft plans around Manaphy. Originally, my mega was going to be Mega Ampharos, however, I again learned that I thought somebody else was going to be taking it, so I kind of looked at other options. Now, when it actually came to my pick, Mega Ampharos was available, but there was another mega that was available that I could not turn down twice. So, with the 14th overall pick and my first pick, I picked Mega Venusaur. Oh, you guys have no idea. I'm so happy to have Mega Venusaur. I almost drafted it last season in the PPL, especially when that draft plan started getting sniped immediately. I very heavily considered it, and I passed over it in favor of Mega Altaria, which is not something I regret, but I am not going to let Mega Venusaur slip past me 2 times in a row. I am a big fan of Mega Venusaur. I really like bulky megas because they work really well as knockoff switch-ins. Mega Venusaur also has really good attack, special attack. Its stabs are really nice, like the Giga Drain. Also learns Leaf Storm, I'm pretty sure, with Sludge Bomb, and has some other cool stuff too. Obviously, like Sleep Powder, Leech Seed, Knockoff, Earthquake. I believe it gets Swords Dance. So there's a lot of things that it can do. And the thing I like about it most is that I know how people have to beat it. You essentially need Stab Flying or Stab Psychic. And if you don't have that, there's a very low chance that you can take out the Mega Venusaur. You either need to whittle it down or set up or something, but it's very, very hard to take down a Mega Venusaur, and I like that. I wanted to get bulk right off the bat. I wanted to make sure that I had switch-ins and try and get both offense and defense in the same mon if I couldn't. I feel like I got that with Mega Venusaur. Mega Venusaur was among one of the most expensive Megas, though. So therefore, the rest of my draft was going to end up having to be a little bit cheaper. So, the Megas were also drafted before the live draft, so I had time to plan, so I started making plans around Mega Venusaur. But the live draft comes around, and here we are. We have third pick. The first two picks taken were Volcanion and Kieran Black, so Manaphy is sitting right there. And even though Lander's Eye is allowed in this league and was available, I had made too many draft plans. I had put too much effort forth around building teams around Manaphy that I could not pass up the opportunity. So with the first normal mon that I picked, I grabbed Manaphy. Manaphy is basically one of the best mons in the format, as regarded by a lot of people. It's a good bulky water. It is good offensively. It gets Tail Glow, Calm Mind, has rest, like Rain Dance, Hydration. It can do stuff like that. Also some really good utility moves. So for a lot of like switch-ins, I mean, it gets Energy Ball for other water types. Psychic it gets, and there's a couple other things that I'm clearly missing. Base 100s across the board, so it's bulky, and there's so many things that I really like about Manaphy. I hate prepping for it, and I don't have to prep for one this season. I'm really hoping I can use it. I don't know how well I'm going to be able to use it, but Manaphy and Mega Venusaur pair together very, very well. So, for example, Manaphy is weak to electric and grass, and Mega Venusaur cares about neither of those things. So, I really like the synergy that those two have. Also, I did want to go over the nicknames. So, Mega Venusaur, I probably put it somewhere on the layout. His name is Sirali. If you get that reference, awesome. It's kind of a stretch, but I think it makes sense. And, yeah, high five if you get that reference. And, Manaphy is called Monophy because Monotui drafted a Manaphy once, and he made sure that he told people that he had a Manaphy. And so we just have to keep it going and tell people that he had a Manaphy, but it doesn't matter because I have it now. But he has a Kieran Black, so I don't know how much he cares. So the plan next, I wanted Heatran. I knew it was a bit of a stretch because, again, remember, Manaphy was basically third, so we're going the whole way back to pick number 1. Then the first person is doing like their second pick, and then we have to wait the whole way to come back. And Heatran was an A rank. It was a fire type. It was a steel type, and I knew it was a stretch for it to be available. And wouldn't you know, it got sniped. I was not able to get Heatran. Heatran Mega Venusaur Core is so good that I just really, really wanted to use it. And I was really, really bummed out that I could not get Heatran. So, I had some backups in place, and my main backup was still there. There was other things I was looking at. This was kind of the round that, say, like, if Jirachi was there, I would have taken it, but I don't expect it to be there. Same thing with, like, Victini, things like that. But I needed an A rank because Manaphy was an S rank, so I needed to start making sure that I got my requirements for my A through E rank. So, in the third round, I grabbed Arcanine. We got Arcanine back, and I'm so happy about this. I'm not one usually for drafting the same mon over and over and over again. I don't mind using the same mon more than once if I feel like it becomes necessary. But usually when it comes to my draft plan, things that I've used before do not go on the plan as priorities. I can't think of a time that I've drafted a mon that I've used before where it was a priority, except for maybe the last time I took Arcanine. That might have been on my plan the whole time. I actually don't remember. No, it wasn't. No, it wasn't actually. So no, I don't think I've ever drafted a mon. I don't think I've ever put a mon that I've used before on my draft plan. with the intent of drafting it. But sometimes this is the way things go. Arcanine is my favorite Pokemon to use in League format. It's my favorite fire type. In my opinion, I think it's the best fire type. I really wanted Heatran to be able to cover Steel type and Stealth Rocks. But unfortunately, we weren't able to do that. But we did get Arcanine, Hipster Entei, not going to change the name. Same thing it's been all the time because he was a legendary dog before it was cool. And yeah, we got a really good Fire Water Grass core. Mega Venusaur, Manaphy, Arcanine. I think that's the best Fire Water Grass core in the league. Could be wrong. Arcanine doesn't really cover anything that still needed to be covered. With its Intimidate, it can take on some bird spam that Mega Venusaur doesn't like. It can take on... I don't really know that there's anything else. I mean, it usually can deal with some Psychic types with if I run a specially defensive one. I know I've used Arcanine as like a Gardevoir counter type deal. So things like that Arcanine could kind of help with, but I have a feeling that I might be able to use Arcanine a little bit more offensively more often this time because I don't have a lot of super offensive mons. But there's Arcanine. We got it back. It is what it is. And I couldn't be happier. I can't wait to use it again because you guys know how much I absolutely love it. So, then, there's only 4 picks between round 3 and round 4. And I had my sights set on Cresselia. Okay, seeing the Megas, I knew that that there are 2 Megas that I'm playing against. Like, the 2 teams that I'm playing against, one has a Mega Medicham, one has a Mega Lopunny, and I wanted a bulky Psychic type. So I kind of threw Cresselia on my draft plan, kind of last minute, a couple days before the draft. And I really thought that I might be able to get it. But, wouldn't you know it, that Mono Tui, the very pick before us, picked Cresselia. Which I was devastated. I really, really wanted Cresselia, probably more than Heatran. And I did want Heatran pretty badly. But I really wanted Cresselia because just the defensive core of Mega Venusaur, Manaphy, Heatran, Cresselia. Oh my gosh, I would love to see people try and break through that because it would not be easy. But unfortunately, I was not able to get Cresselia. However, there was something else that has been on my draft plan for a long time, and even though it doesn't help deal with the the fighting types that I might have to go against, it does deal with literally everything else. It's also a B rank, which also Cresselia was, so I couldn't get the Moon Duck, so I got a different type of duck, and I drafted Porygon 2. Now, I know because of planning against Porygon 2 that it is so hard to take out. Porygon 2, by the way, I like this nickname because it is called Windows 10 because this thing is annoying, just like the notification that of Windows 10 trying to get you to update to it when you don't want to. You just want it to go away, just like you want Porygon 2 to go away, but guess what? It's not going to. It's going to keep being there. It's going to keep sticking around, and, you know, computer references and all that good stuff because Porygon 2, you know, computer stuff. This thing just, it takes hits. Eviolite, it's probably the best Eviolite Mon, which I'm okay at using Eviolite Mons. I had a Tangela in the PVL for a little bit, and I really, really liked using it. You just need to know not to switch into knockoffs. That's the main thing. But even without a knockoff, or without an Eviolite, Porygon 2 can still take some hits. It's obviously not as bulky as when it has it, but it's still pretty bulky, and it is... You kind of underestimate it, but it also has pretty good attack. It's got base 105 special attack with Tri-Attack and Bolt Beam, things like that. I'm pretty sure it gets Bolt Beam. And yeah, it also has Analytic, and it's slow, meaning that it can hit extra hard. It gets the extra boost from that, so I was really happy about Porygon 2, and that still makes a pretty good defensive core between Mega Venusaur, Manaphy, Arcanine, and Porygon 2. They all kind of cover each other really well. There's not a whole lot that's going to break through all 4 of those, so, you know, I'm pretty excited about having that. So, now we got to the point where we had to wait the whole time around, and at this point I had my Mega, I had my S, well, I had an S rank. An S rank is not required, but I did have one in Manaphy. I had my A rank, which was Arcanine, and my B rank, which was Porygon 2. So I need to start looking for other ranks too, because I want to kind of start making sure that I have one of each rank before I start going for the extra mons. And I was looking through the C ranks because I didn't know what I wanted. I had my eyes on Umbreon, but Umbreon was more if I didn't get a defensive, like if I didn't get Porygon 2 or Cresselia, I probably would have gotten Umbreon. But Porygon, the only thing I would use Umbreon for, it would be for like wish passing and stuff like that. Porygon 2 has self-recovery, Arcanine has self-recovery, Mega Venusaur has self-recovery, and Manaphy has somewhat self-recovery, but it's also more offensive mon, or so I hope to be. So I kind of thrown that out of the way. But I know what I wanted. I wanted some Psychic offense, and I wanted a Steel type because I didn't have Heatran, and I wanted Stealth Rocks. Well, I finally decided I was going to get Metagross. So Metagross was not on my draft plan anywhere, but I saw it and I was like, you know what? I feel like this fits my team. I'm going to go for it. Once again, the pick before, Metagross gets taken from me. So, we are a consistent visitor to Snipe City because we just kept getting sniped. That was like 3 rounds in a row that we got sniped. Absolutely ridiculous. And if I remember correctly, this was the round that some people started being a little memey, I suppose. So this is round 5, yeah. And I, instead of going immediately for a backup to Metagross, I skipped on to the next thing on my draft plan, which was my Fairy type. Despite the fact that Aromatisse was still there, and it was a C rank, I just didn't want to use it because I was so set on using this certain Fairy type. And that mon is Slurpuff. Puff Daddy with Slurpuff. I am really, really excited about Slurpuff. So many people underestimate this mon, don't think it's that good. I am going to try and set out and prove everybody wrong. If you look at its stats, it has similar bulk to Clefable. It's not quite, but it's like almost as bulky, which is pretty decent. Slurpuff also gets access to Cotton Guard, Calm Mind, Belly Drum with Unburden, has really good move coverage, things like Surf, things like Thunderbolt, things like Psychic, things like Energy Ball, I believe he gets Energy Ball, and Play Rough, Drain Punch, all the things you kind of expect. Also has Wish, also has Heal Bell. So if I need a Wish Passer, I have it. If I need Heal Bell, I have it. Bam. I'm really happy about that. Slurpuff basically does so many things that I think people are going to sleep on. Slurpuff gets continuously passed over in drafts. People a lot of times will rather have no fairy than to have Slurpuff, and I think that is doing Slurpuff a disservice. So I'm going to set out to prove that it can be good. I might fail. Maybe it is undrafted a lot of times for a reason. Maybe it is really bad, but I don't see it as bad. I'm going to do my best with it. I think I'm really excited. So yes, I picked Slurpuff a little bit early, but also I didn't really have a backup to Slurpuff. If Slurpuff got taken, I probably would have resorted to Togetic, which I really didn't want because Togetic didn't have the offense that I think Slurpuff can provide. Slurpuff can provide some surprise offense, especially after it sits up. So I didn't really want anything on my team to become setup fodder. So far, I've been doing really good with drafting mons that can be both offensive and defensive, and I believe that Slurpuff can do basically the same. So, after that, I knew there's only 4 picks in between, so I had that time to try and figure out what I wanted to do with my next pick. And I decided to see if there was any other Steel types in the C rank, which is what I needed. I still needed a C and a D, but I knew what I wanted my D rank to be, and was pretty sure that nobody was going to pick it. So I moved right back to my C rank. Slurpuff was E, by the way, so I still had C and D to go. And there was 2 Steel types that were still available, Cobalion and Lucario. And I wanted Stealth Rocks, which I don't think Lucario gets. And I wanted Speed, because my fastest right now is base 100, not counting like unburdened boosted Slurpuff. So I wanted some speed. I wanted a Steel type. I also could use a Fighting type, which could help me cancel out a pick that would happen later. because I had things like Metacham on my draft plan and things like that, and I was just like, why don't I just get Cobalion? So I do draft Cobalion in the 6th round. Athos is its name because it's based on Athos, apparently, from some story or whatever. Also, Athos just reminds me of a character from Fire Emblem, the most powerful wizard in the game. So, really, really cool. I'm not a big fan of Cobalion. I really like Cobalion's design and everything, but I've never been a fan of it in League format. It's not very powerful, and it doesn't get recovery. It's a steel type that doesn't resist fairy, it doesn't resist psychic, so things that it should be resisting, it doesn't. So there's a lot of things about Cobalion I don't like, but I'm going to give it a chance. I know that there are other people that do really like it, and so I really want to see if I can do work with it. It gives me Stealth Rocks, it gives me a fighting type, it does have setup options, it gives me Volt Switch, which is really, really nice. If I can get the right time to Volt Switch and drop in Manaphy, that's really, really good for me. So, as much, momentum, Switch initiative that I can get with this team to get into things like Manaphy, the better off I'll be. So, I think Cobalion is going to do pretty well. I don't know how to feel about it, but it's on my team, and we're gonna try it and hope that it works out. We also have Mega Venusaur that can, deal with fairies, so it's not like we're super weak to fairy. We also have Arcanine that resists, so I think Cobalion is an okay choice. Now, next pick, we have to wait the whole time again, and I knew what I wanted. I wanted this the whole time. It's a D rank. I needed hazard removal. I would not mind a dragon type, and this thing gave me all of it. So we got Flagon. We got U-turn the Flagon, because that's probably what it's going to be doing a lot, is U-turning. Also, that's just what it does on Showdown. So this Flagon actually gets a lot of cool utility moves, or, well, not like utility, but it gets a lot of like move coverage, and things that I think I can surprise people with. But this is probably going to be U-turn, defog, and just some random stuff most weeks. I don't expect Flagon to be the most offensive Pokemon, but it was a D rank. There was no other dragons in D rank. The only other defogger that I wanted was Skuntank, which I think had already been picked, plus I didn't want a poison type anymore since I already had Mega Venusaur. I just really want a Flagon. It gets Roost, so, it can kind of recover itself. It is 4 times weak to Ice, but I don't have a single other Ice weakness on my team. I can deal with Ice really well. I have a Manaphy, I have an Arcanine. I'm not really that concerned. So, the 4 times weakness to Ice, really don't care. I think we'll be fine. Flagon also has decent speed for me to use, so yeah, that should be good. And I am looking forward to using Flagon because it's another mon that people really overlook. And that completes our Fairy Dragon Steel Core, the best Fairy Dragon Steel Core of all time. Slurpuff, Cobalion, Flagon. Show me a better one. No, obviously I focus more on my Fire Water Grass core, but I do think that those three, I don't think they work together as a core, but I do think that they're all good mons in their own respective right, and I plan to use them. So now we go back. I know what I wanted one mon to be. I still had one more mon that I was going to wait till the last round because nobody was going to pick it, It was a Y rank. The Y rank is called the Y rank because it's why would anybody draft these. And that mon that I wanted, I was just going to save to the end. So I started doing the maths to see what I could afford because now I could choose from any tier I want. And I figured that the highest I could go was B, maybe even A rank, if the right mon fits the bill. And I realized I still hadn't got my Psychic offense. There's also a mon that kind of caught my eye as I was looking, and that mon was Alakazam. Alakazam is going to be Vanilla Killer because he's got the spoons, he sees the vanilla ice cream, and he kills it. So, Vanilla Killer, the Alakazam, so happy to have Alakazam. I got that round, 8? Round 8 Alakazam, I'm cool with that. Base 120 speed, base like 135 special attack, Magic Guard. This thing hits hard. This is, something that could do a lot of damage to Mega Venusaur. Actually, looking at it, it could probably do a lot of damage to my team in general. So, I'm really glad that I have Alakazam and nobody else does. So, that's really all it is. I hope to use it really well. I can run Magic Guard Life Orb, there's Focus Sash, it gets good move coverage, it gets, Substitute, I say that as if most things don't, but I mean it runs it effectively, especially when people, want to try and revenge it or deal with it with offensive checks. Alakazam is the fastest mon on my team now, which gives me pretty decent speed tiers. Goes from 120 with Alakazam to 108 with Cobalion to 100 with Manaphy, and I feel like Flygon's 100 also. So I really like kind of my speed tiers. They're all really close together, but I think it's all really nice. So Alakazam, pretty self-explanatory, really big fan, and I can't wait to use it. And then we get to the last mon. I didn't have an electric type. I think electric types are kind of overrated. Like, I think the high-end electric types are kind of overrated, overvalued. I feel like you can get a very cheap electric type to fulfill basically the same role as one of the higher tier ones. So that's why I actually drafted Rotom Fan. Rotom Fan I do really like. However, it's not showing up on the layout for a reason. So, the initial thought process with Rotom Fan, basically I ended up replacing it, and I'll get into that really quickly. But I drafted Rotom Fan because I wanted an electric type to deal with bird spam, which any electric type will do. I just needed something to not let something like Choice Band and Brave Bird run through my team, things like that. It doesn't need to be the most effective flying check, it just needs to be something to kind of stop it. So that's why I got Rotom Fan. It also has Pain Split and Air Slash, which is nice. However, after looking at my completed team, I realized that I only have one Defogger and Flygon, and I have Arcanine and Rotom Fan, both are going to be weak to rocks, and I'm just like, I see another mon that I want, and I'm going to end up switching it. Basically, after the live draft, you get a 2-day grace period to make some changes. This is because this is a live draft, everything's done all at once, and sometimes you make hasty decisions that you end up regretting. So, I don't necessarily regret the Rotom Fan pick, but I just saw an opportunity to improve my team, so I actually switched out Rotom Fan, and I got Electivire. I am a huge fan of Electivire. Electivire is going to be Arbomon because they literally look the same. It's ridiculous how much of the same they look. But, so Arbomon, the Electivire, is going to be putting in so much work. It gives me another form of Volt Switch. That gives me Electivire, that gives me Flygon, that gives me Cobalion. I think Manaphy even gets U-turn, but I probably won't run it like that. But yeah, so Electivire is a mon that I've used before. It's really good. I know how to use it. It can be run effectively physically, especially banded, scarfed, Life Orb, Assault Vest. I've done things like that, and I really like Electivire. Like I said, I think lower ranked electric types can still put in a lot of work, and I think Electivire is going to show up a lot more than people expect it to. But yeah, so then we go into the bench. Basically after this round, we have 3 bench mons. So the initial 9 is the main team. That's the team that I can bring to a match. However, each week I can decide to switch one of them out for a mon on the bench, and then that will move on to the main team, and then I can use those 9 to build for the next team. And I can switch it. I think I have a maximum of 5 bench switches a season, and there's 8 games in the regular season, so I can make bench switches a lot, and this gives me an opportunity to continue to patch some holes that my draft still has. Main ones is that I don't have enough Stealth Rockers or Hazard Setters, and I don't have enough Hazard Removal, so yeah. And I don't really have a great knockoff user, so I decided to try and patch that. Now, initially, I drafted Venomoth first on my bench, because Quiver Passing could be fun, another Sleep Powder user, things like that. But the more I looked at it, the more I didn't see myself bringing Venomoth. I don't see what I would Quiver Pass into. I don't see it fitting on my team. I didn't really need the Bug type. I definitely didn't need the Poison type. So I ended up dropping Venomoth, and I actually traded it for Omastar. Omastar is a really cool mon. It gets Stealth Rocks, it gets Spikes, it gets Shell Smash, and from there it can just wreak havoc. This is a very situational mon, but it does give me some more options for hazards if I feel like I need them, and if Omastar has a good matchup, I can bring it to a match, use it, and then I can bench it the next week for something else. That's the beauty of this kind of bench system that you can work with. Bring it when it's useful, and then just bench it when you don't need it, because 4 times weakness to grass, Again, I don't really have anything else in my team weak to grass outside of Manaphy, so it's not going to mind that, but it is kind of frail on the special side, I think. So it's not like Omastar is that hard to take down, so I just need to play very carefully with it. I have used Omastar on the ladder. I do like using it, so I think it'll be good. And of course, this Omastar is going to be called Jeremiah because I thought I told you I'm a star. Yeah, it's a bad joke, I know. But yeah, so Jeremiah the Omastar. Hopefully it comes in and it'll do a lot of work. So after that, I decided to get myself another form of hazard removal because it was there, and I drafted Hitmonchan. French Fry Head, the Hitmonchan. I really like Hitmonchan. It is good in draft format. Rapid Spin, everything that you could imagine for fighting types to get. Elemental punches, including Drain Punch, and then things like Bulk Up. Of course, it's Rapid Spin. It has priority with like Mach Punch, things like that. It has pretty decent stats, and I really like it. It gives me another Rapid Spinner. Well, it gives me a Rapid Spinner because my only other form of hazard removal is Flygon, so I can kind of switch them out, whichever hazard removal I feel like is better for that week. I can bring that one, and it'll be all really good. So that's Hitmonchan. It's going to start off on the bench, but I do definitely see myself bringing it. I think it's a decent Rapid Spinner. It's a pretty good fighting type, and Hitmonchan and Cobalion do not share any of the same weaknesses, so having both of them on the team doesn't really affect anything. Now, if you guys were looking on Twitter, the last Mon was actually chosen by viewer pick. After the draft, we basically had to submit 4 or 5 Pokemon. I think it ended up being 4 Pokemon that we wanted the fans to choose from to give us their final Mon. The 4 that I chose was Ambipom, was Cinccino, was Omastar because I had the viewer pick before I made the Omastar change, and I forget what the last one was. What was the last one? I actually don't remember. Weezing maybe? Might have been Weezing or something. No, I actually don't remember what it was. But we ended up getting Ambipom. And Ambipom is going to be named Both-Handed because don't we all wish we were both-handed?
I wish I was both-handed.
So, Ambipom gives me more speed, base 115, gives me probably my best knockoff user, gives me Fake Out, so some priority that I was kind of lacking, and is just good. It gives me another U-turner, and I really like Ambipom. It gets elemental punches, it gets Seed Bomb, it gets really good coverage to hit anything that I want it to. I think I can use Ambipom pretty effectively, and again, Ambipom is a situational Mon. If I feel like it's going to work in a matchup, I can bring it, I can take it off the bench and bring it, and then just bench it the next week and things like that. So, I do look forward to using Ambipom, and I really look forward to my whole team. So, just to recap, my entire team consists of Mega Venusaur, Manaphy, Arcanine, Porygon 2, Swordpuff, Cobalion, Flygon, Alakazam, Electivire, Omastar, Hitmonchan, and Ambipom. This is kind of a ragtag group of Mons, but that's kind of how I work best. It's not the flashiest. Outside of the first couple picks, it's very top-heavy. I know the top couple are very threatening, and the rest people are just going to underestimate. They're going to overlook, and that's how I operate best. I operate best when I can use Mons that I know that I'm going to personally enjoy using and using my advantage. So, I'm going to take advantage of people over-planning for things like Mega Venusaur and Manaphy, and under-prepping for things maybe like Slurpuff and Alakazam and Cobalion, Ambipom, Omastar, things like that. So that's kind of the plan for the season. I think with the bench picks, I did end up shoring up a little bit of the problems with my initial draft, being that I don't really have a whole lot of hazard setters, I don't really have a lot of hazard removal, but I basically have all the types that I think are good for a well-synergized team. All my walls have recovery, all my walls are not passive, all of them can hit back very, very hard, and I really, really like my team, and I really like our chances. So I am really, really excited for the season, and I hope you guys are too. Let me know what you think about our team, because I've gotten very mixed opinions about it, because I know people have pretty low opinions on things like Slurpuff, Flygon, all that good stuff. But hopefully you guys see why I drafted, and hopefully we can make those things work, so we can change people's perspective on those bonds. But I'm going to wrap this video up. I am super excited about this season. Let me know if you guys are too. Let me know if you guys are supporting the Pittsburgh Pyroar as we try and win the TBU. Like I said, I really like our chances. I think we can go all the way. I'm confident, and I hope you guys are there to back me up. So, with all that being said, that basically wraps up anything. Any questions or comments that I might have missed, make sure you go ahead in the comment section below, and I will address any issues, concerns, anything that I might have missed. And I will see you guys next time. So, thanks for watching, and until the next time, guys, stay sly.